Hey there, I'm Apple Kreider with Investing Simple. In this video, we're showing you exactly how the Fundrise investing app works for beginners. Fundrise is an investing app that allows anyone to get started investing in real estate through what is called crowdfunding. So basically on the app, which I'm going to show you in just a little bit on my phone, you're able to invest in these larger real estate projects with a bunch of other investors so that you don't have to put up tens of thousands of dollars to buy a property. You can just put in a couple $100s into a particular property and invest in that project, get exposure actually across a ton of different projects through the Fundrise platform. Now, they're doing all the heavy work, they're doing all the research and finding the properties to buy and all that good stuff, and you're just putting money in, they're investing it for you across a ton of different properties, and you're able to get all that diversification in your portfolio without needing a ton of money. Now within the app, you're actually able to choose what kind of strategy you want to follow, whether you want to be more of a growth investor where you're investing in kind of rundown properties that they're buying, fixing up, and then renting out at a higher price, or if you just want to invest in kind of properties that are already cash flowing and be more kind of conservative, don't have to worry too much about the expense that go into like fixing up a place and if they're actually able to rent it out. You just buy a place that's already cash flowing and just receive those checks every single month. All right, so that being said, let's dive into the Fundrise app on my phone to show you exactly how it works. Now, obviously the first step is going to be to download the app, and we've got a link below for you to easily do that. Now from there, once you're into the app, it's going to look something like this. Now I'm just demoing the app for you right now. This is not an actual portfolio. This is just kind of a demo screen so we can walk through everything that's going on in the platform and what you're going to see when you actually do sign up. So the first thing you'll see is up top how much money is in your account. Obviously that'll be zero when you get started. So first thing let's do is talk about how to actually fund your account. So if you click on the guy in the upper right hand corner here, the little dollar sign in the circle with a plus, that's going to allow you to make a deposit into your portfolio. So you can pick if you want to do a one-time investment or a recurring investment. Maybe you want to put $100 a month into here. Maybe you want to put $1,000 at the start into here. Whatever you want to do, you can do that right here. And then you'll link your bank account securely via Plaid, which is kind of like the industry standard for linking bank accounts to other financial institutions. And then you'll be able to move money into your Fundrise account. From there, you're going to decide which portfolio you actually want to allocate your funds to, because there are a bunch of different portfolios, like I said, depending on what kind of strategy you want to follow. And so that is something you'll have to think about. Now, depending on how much money you actually put into your account, you're going to have access to a different tier of service. Now, the higher the amount you put in, the higher the tier, and the higher the tier, the more options you have for how to invest. Okay, because on the starter tier, anywhere from $500 to $1,000, $500 is their minimum, but $500 to $1,000, you're only going to have access to their starter portfolio, which is kind of like a generic portfolio with a little bit of everything in there. Okay. Now, if you get up to $1,000, then you're going to have access to their 3 basic portfolios that are going to allow you to kind of have a little bit more flexibility in terms of what you actually want to invest in. And then as you get to $10,000, you'll have a whole bunch more investment options. And then as up to $100,000, a whole bunch more investment options. So it really just depends how much money you're actually planning on putting into Fundrise. That's going to dictate what kind of options you have in terms of your investments. But now let's take a peek through the app. So up top here, you can see the total amount in your portfolio, and you can see a little chart of how that has done over time. Pretty straightforward. And then you'll also see here, it says starter. So this is telling us that we're in the starter tier. Like I said, from $500 to $1,000, that's the starter tier. And you'll only have access to the starter portfolio, which is what this particular trial account is invested into. Now, as you scroll down here, you're going to see a news feed with different updates from the projects that you're invested in, which is pretty nice. They'll give you kind of periodic updates on your different projects in your portfolio. Now, next thing you can do is go over to performance, and this is going to give you a more detailed breakdown of how your portfolio has done over time. So again, that same chart here, and you can kind of filter this by the different year and see how your portfolio has done over time. See a little bit more on your net returns, your net cash in and out, all of that good stuff. And then down here, you can see broken down how your portfolio is actually doing. So you're going to be invested across a bunch of different e-REITs and e-funds. And so those will all show up here. It'll tell you what your percentage return is from each of those. So you can kind of get a breakdown on, okay, this fund is contributing this much to my return, etc. So you actually know a little bit more about how your investment's doing. Now, the next thing you can do is go over to positions here, and this will give you an even more in-depth breakdown on the particular things that you're invested in within your portfolio. So again, let's say we want to go into this income e-REIT and see what we actually own here. So we can see that we have 12.963 shares of this e-REIT. You can see we paid about $129 for those shares. They're now currently worth about $130, so we've made a little bit of money on those shares so far. You can scroll down here and see your dividends and your fees. And then at the bottom, you can see your total return over time from this particular position. Now, if we go back here, we can do the same thing with all the different positions in our portfolio. As you can see, we've only got about $600 in this account, but we have exposure to 12 different positions, which is pretty nice diversification if you ask me. Now, next thing we'll do is hop over here to projects, and here we can see what projects are in our portfolio. So with this demo account, they're not showing us a bunch of projects, but in your actual portfolio, you're gonna have exposure to probably a ton of different projects that you can look into and actually see, whoa, like I actually own part of this property, which is pretty cool. I mean, like when you own real estate, it's pretty cool to be able to see like, oh wow, I own part of this house in Dallas, Texas, and you can just get updates on that house and how it's doing and if it's rented out, or maybe it's an apartment building and maybe they're doing some repairs on it or whatever. Like you get updates on all of that stuff, which is pretty cool. I mean, like you can brag to your friends and say, hey, I actually own a slice of this random apartment building in like Arkansas. Do you want to see some pictures of it? So I don't know. I think that's pretty cool, but totally depends on you. So we could tap into here and just view the details on this particular project. We can see that it's 10 new homes that are built over here in this Dade city in Florida. We can scroll down here and see that it's 100% an equity deal from these different funds and REITs, how much the deal actually cost and all of that good stuff. With your particular deals, you'll probably be able to get more information on them, but since this is just a demo account, we're not getting all that much info here. Now, if you have a lot of different projects in your portfolio, you could also go over here to the map option and see, like, you could see these pins all over the United States with like where your different projects are at, which I think is a pretty cool feature as well. But overall, everything is going to be tracked from your home screen right here, and that is where you're going to get all the basic information about your portfolio, your assets, etc. So overall, Fundrise is definitely one of the easiest ways for beginners to get involved in real estate because it does not involve you doing all the legwork that goes into actually buying a property, nor does it require you to have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to actually go out there and purchase a property. You don't have to get a loan. You don't have to do negotiations. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You just get the app, you just deposit some money, you pick how you want to invest the money, and then it's kind of done. Now, obviously that is not free, so there is a 1% asset management fee on any money that you put in there. But over time, I mean, real estate historically averages quite a bit more than 1%. So on average, that probably won't be a huge issue. Now, if you want to learn more about how Fundrise works, we actually have a full comprehensive article on our website, investingsimple.com, detailing the entire process step by step. The easiest way to find that is to head on over to Google, type in how does Fundrise work, and then click on the link for investingsimple.com. We will see you over there.